Downstairs.
Denzel, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
Yeah, good. That looked like a pretty intense spar you're involved with there.
Yeah, it was all right, man. I was in there with a good guy. A little bit heavier than me. He's a lot heavier as an amateur, but he's a good fighter. Yeah.
It looked like, you know, Ray, your coach, was telling you to actually calm down a bit.
Yeah, he hit me with a good shot, and I was like, all right, my turn to have some fun now. Do you know what I mean? So I thought I flew a little flurry back, but they're like, listen, like, just take it easy. It's not a fight, it's a spar. We're here to learn and, you know, try and do what we've been drilling on the pads and stuff. So I was like, all right, my bad.
It's easy to get carried away, though, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely, especially when like the guy you're in there with is good. You just, you know, you just kind of get the feel for it. It just starts firing up, and you just both just start throwing shots. And it can get carried away, but you know, before it got, you know, heated, they just said pull back, and you know, we got back to what we were doing. So no, it was good work.
You got your mojo back because after, you know, I don't want to start on a negative, but after the Felix Cash defeat, I mean, it was a bit of a low point.
Yeah, no, of course, it happens, innit? First lost really bad. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That it was a bad loss. Didn't show a little bit of what I could do. Didn't show a tiny bit of what I could do in there, and it just, you know, it just ended bad. It was just like, damn, do you know what I mean? So I had to just make a decision: either sit down and sulk about it, or get back to the gym and work on everything I need to work on and get better. And obviously, I took the second option. But
obviously, yeah, I know no one wants to lose, but then the flip side of that is, having spoken to many trainers and fighters, that often you can learn more from losing a fight than you can from winning one.
Yeah, that's what they say, but you know, you'd rather just learn from your wins anyway. You can learn things from a win. It's just whether you decide to look at the mistakes you made in the fight that you won or not. You know what I mean? So everyone, you know, can pick up from anything they do in sparring and fights, whether they win or lose. But I guess with a loss, you're just kind of like more inclined to look at what went wrong. And in a win, you just think, oh, I got away with it, it's all right, you know what I mean? But in the loss, you might have done the same thing you've done in the fight that you won, but because with that loss, you never got away with it. Now you want to pick up on it and, you know, decide to fix things.
That was like the first defence of your British title.
Yeah.
Of your first British title. This is the first defence of your second British title now. Should be an interesting fight.
Yeah, it should be. It should be an interesting fight. Like you said, good fighter. We all know we can bang, so we've got to be wary of that. And, you know, he gets stuck in there, he fires back.
And I've never seen you in a boring fight, I don't think so.
Exactly, so you know what I'm about.
So I think it's going to be blink if you miss it. And yeah, I mean, basically you're an entertainer. And I know, you know, okay, you've had that one loss in your car, but generally you put bums on seats. People want to come and watch you fight. Yeah,
no, most definitely, man. People are excited to watch. After my last fight, people couldn't wait till I was back out again. I still get people, you know, coming up to me now saying, "Oh, your last fight was wicked. Your last fight was exciting to see." People are saying, you know, best fight they've seen in a while. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I get pride in that. I feel kind of happy when I hear those things.
And also, some of your previous wins, like most notably against Mark Heffron, are looking even better now after what he did to Lennox Clark.
Yeah, exactly. He's looking even better. He had a good win against Lennox Clark. Lennox Clark was a good fighter. He just beat Willie Hutchinson. He was also a good fighter. So it's good for Mark, you know, to finally get his hands on that British title, and the other two that came along with it in his third try. But it just makes my win look better, as you said. So I'm happy about that.
Absolutely, yeah. And just going back to this fight, Morrison, you fight, and I mean, you know, he's just come back down from super middle.
Yeah.
But he fought at this weight. Chris Eubank Jr. took him the distance, so he's no mug, is he?
No, he's no mug at all. And he was firing back all night in that fight. It's not like he went in his shell and was trying to survive. He was firing back. So it's good. Him moving up was a bad decision from him. I think he just had the opportunity and took the opportunity. I don't think clearly Zach Parker was too big for him. Every shot he hit him with hurt. And we saw that. I think middleweight's his better weight. And since that, his fights after that have been at middleweight. So you could see it wasn't like he was trying to campaign at super middle and went on and fought super middleweights. He's come back to middle and was competing at middle before, you know, he's coming to fight me.
And if and when you do beat him, and obviously you think you are going to beat him, if my maths is right, then if you have one more win, then you get the Lonsdale belt.
I think that's how it works. I'm not quite sure, but that's what I've heard, and I hope that's the case.
But it'd be nice, a Lonsdale belt outright is pretty special.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, if I can get out, I do want to get one more time this year again. So we'll see what happens.
And what sort of, looking beyond that, I mean, your name's been heavily linked with Hamza Shiraz.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Good fighter, good fighter. He's just stepped up to middleweight. He's feeling his way around. He looks good at the weight. Listen, you ain't got to ask me twice to fight anyone. I'm always ready to go.
But I know you and him have sparred like back in the day.
Yeah, in the past, yeah. In the past we sparred, we've done a lot of rounds. They used to come down to the Old Peacock a lot, done quite a few rounds, and he's a good fighter.
Yeah, and he's a nice fella, same as you know?
Yeah, he's
but,
a cool guy, yeah.
I guess that would, but I'm not trying to put words in your mouth at all, don't get me wrong, but it would be quite an easy fight to make given you're under the same promoter at some stage.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, the minute we both want it, the minute that it will happen, you know what I mean? We're with the same promoter. There ain't got to be too much pushing and pulling, you know, we're both here on the same side, so it's an easy fight to make as long as obviously everything makes sense on both sides, not just for me or not just for him, do you know what I'm saying? We're both happy with you know, what's on the line with that fight, then it's happening.
But from your point of view, I mean, if and when you win the Lonsdale belt outright, I mean, do you want to move on from that? Have you got your sights set
I would
on
like
bigger?
to. I would like to. You know, every fighter in this game dreams to be a world champion, and I feel like I'm on a good route to go and do that. So you know, that's what I want to go and do. So once, you know, if I get the opportunity to win it outright, I win it outright. There'll be nothing else to do domestically, and I think the only option will be to move forward and try and achieve that dream.
And do you put any time scale on that, or is it just like as
No,
and when
I
happens?
don't put no time scale on it. But if you ask me, I'd like sooner rather than later. Do you know what I mean? But I think the minute you put a time scale on things and it gets to that time and it hasn't come through, it could be a bit disheartening. So I just know where I want to be, and I know it's all in God's time. And when I get there, and you know, I'll be able to perform my best and you know, hopefully come out on top.
We mentioned his name already, but you get a decent result against Morrison, and that'll make you again look better if Morrison's taken Chris Eubank Jr. the distance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it would. And Chris Eubank's a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? I think he tried to play with his food a little bit, and then when he tried to take him out, he couldn't take him out. So if I could, then that'd be lovely.
And is that obviously we've got the Eubank Ben fight coming up, but is Eubank a name that'd be on your lips like further down the line?
Yeah, Eubank's my weight. He's at a high level. I think on BoxRec he's ranked #1 in the country. So, you know, I think that's a nice step to take before getting to, you know, that world stage if I'm not there by then. Do you know what I mean? I think by the time I get to that level where me and Eubank's names are in the same sentence, I think it would be a good fight, and I think it'd be an amazing fight, a big fight.
Yeah, and then also you've got other, I think, you know, Triple G surely won't be around by then.
Yeah, no, of course not. Yeah. I think either way, I think even if he somehow beats Canelo, he's got all the belts at super middle, so he'll probably campaign there. And if he loses, especially if he loses badly, he'll just go into retirement, take his last payday and let go of the 2 belts he has. So then that frees up the division a bit, and there's 2 vacant belts out there.
Also takes a hell of a dangerous fighter out the equation.
Exactly,
well.
definitely, most definitely. Even though he is like 40, he can still punch. You saw in his last fight when he went to Japan to fight Murata. You know, he didn't look the same, but his power was still there, and his power is always dangerous.
Just end on this fight we're having now. I know that you were expecting to fight him a bit sooner, weren't you? And there was a bit of to and fro on Twitter.
Is that with Marcus Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got offered him first fight from lockdown, and then for some reason it didn't happen, and I ended up fighting Mick Hall. So I kind of tweeted him like, "Oh, what happened there?" And he was like, "Oh, wait your turn." And I was like, "All right." And at the end of that year, I won the British, and he tried to say, "Oh, you fancy a defence?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll get to the back of the queue, mate." Do you know what I mean? So bit of fun, bit of back and forth, and we're here now. So I guess, you know, it's like you said earlier, it's all timing. So yeah.
Absolutely, and just seeing you training and knowing you know you're like a really fun guy. You've always got a smile on your face.
Yeah.
When does it start to get real? When does that imaginary switch flick?
When I get to the venue, you know what I'm saying? I like to enjoy my training because training's hard, and it's easy to not like training. So the minute I make this seem like a chore rather than something that I enjoy doing, it becomes harder. It's hard anyway, so you might as well just enjoy it while we're here. When we get to the venue, it's showtime, and you know it's time to handle business essentially. Other than that, it's working out and getting in the best shape possible.
And headlining at York Hall, one of the most iconic venues in the country, if not the most iconic, in front of a crowd this time as well.
In front of a crowd this time, yeah. The last 2 times I headlined at York Hall, wasn't really the best results. I got a draw and a loss, but with a crowd now, it's time to make it right. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, well, I get the sense that you're somebody who enjoys having the crowd there. You thrive on that.
Yeah, most definitely. I love a crowd there. I love it when everyone's just screaming. You throw a punch, and you know, I know that was a good shot because everyone's getting mad. You know what I'm saying? Kind of play to the crowd a little bit, but I enjoy it.
And do you know, ahead of this fight, do you play out in your mind how it's going to go? Or?
Yeah, all the time. I think of every possible, every possibility. You know, it's a fight at the end of the day. But in my mind, I have a way where I'd like it to go, but we've got to get in there and see. I don't know Morrison's mindset coming to this fight, but I will find out when that first bell rings.
Absolutely. And just last question. You've got a very impressive knockout record. Do you expect that to continue?
What hand do you want, right or left? Yeah, I'd like it to continue, but I'm ready to go 12 rounds. But you know me already. If I have a prediction, I'm always predicting a knockout.